Hello, hello, hello. My name is Georgia. Thank you so much for stopping by. If you're new here, welcome. If you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. Today, I want to talk to you about this coat that I made. I think I worked on it late, about maybe mid-March to mid-April, somewhere around there. It is the Vogue, it's this one here. It's Vogue V1752. And I did the longer view, so it's view B. Yeah. I used boucle coating fabric, and I believe I paid about $12 a yard for this one. I bought this fabric back in late summer of 2024. I had also bought another coating fabric, but decided to use this one first because it's the least expensive of the two. And as usual, I'm checking out my notes. So yes, and I also bought about 6 yards of the coating fabric and 6 yards of the lining fabric. For the lining, I used a satin fabric, same color. And I believe in my last video, in my last fabric haul and pattern haul video, I mentioned that I bought maybe 7 yards of one fabric and 8 yards of the other. I think I bought 6. I think I bought 6 and 5 instead of 7 and 8. And I bought 6 yards of this one. So yeah, just wanted to let you guys know. For the Vogue 1752 pattern, I bought a size 16 to 24. But after I took out the instructions out of the pattern envelope, the pattern pieces, I noticed that I would be needing maybe a size 14 instead. So that's what I did. I sized down to from a size 16 to a size 14. And when I say I size down, I mean that I make my own lines and my own markings using the markings and lines on the pattern. So if there is maybe a half-inch distance between lines 16 and 18, then I would create that half-inch distance between the size 16 and then the size 14 lines that I would mark. So that's how I said it was some work, but I wouldn't say it was too much work. I've done it before on other projects, so I'm used to doing that. But of course, any way that I can avoid that, I will. It's my first coat pattern, so I figured, you know what? Let me just buy a bigger size and then I guess make the adjustments as I go, and that's what I did. So for the top, anything from the shoulders to the waist, I use the size 14 lines and markings that I created. But then from the waist down, I kept the size 16 lines and markings from the pattern. But I still had to make some adjustments after I had sewn the front and back pieces and then sewn up the shoulders and side seams, tried it on and made some adjustments before I attached the collar. I'll tell you some more about that in a little bit. So yeah, from the shoulders I cut, I shouldn't have done it, but I don't know. I think my shoulder pads, they don't look as clean as I would have wanted them to look, and I feel that I may have taken off too much. What I did for the shoulders or for the armhole was there was probably a notch here and a notch at the back, and so I went up a quarter, not quarter inch, half an inch, all the way from this notch all the way around to the other notch, and then kind of tried it on and figured, I wanted it more on my shoulders, so I took off another half inch. So I ended up taking off about a whole inch from the shoulders, and yeah, but then when I went in to add my shoulder pads, I didn't feel that they were sitting nicely on my shoulder. And then I looked at other coats, and I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking it. But the next time around, maybe I'll just go with maybe a half an inch, and just keep it at that. If I make this again, yes, that's what I'll do. And so I was mentioning the back. All right, and some alterations that I made. So I took in quite a bit at the back here, just so I could get the fit that I wanted. So I believe I made what's called a fisheye dart. So I went down about from the top, 8 inches down from the top, and then I guess marked an inch and 1/8. I think that's what I ended up with. And at the top here, I took in 5/8 of an inch, and then went out to the inch and 1/8. And then at the bottom here, I went about 1 inch past this waist seam here, and I did 5/8 of an inch. So it's like 5/8 of an inch, and then it went out to the 1 inch and 1/8, and then came back into the 5/8 of an inch. So that's, like I said, I created like a fish eye dart. So it looks like something like that, right? So for these back side seams, I think I did 3/8 of an inch, and I didn't go all the way down. So I went 3/8 of an inch to about here, 3/8 of an inch from the top to about here, and then on the side seams, I also went in 3/8 of an inch on both sides. And so after making those adjustments, I felt like the coat fit me properly, because on my back, like, I do have a curve at the bottom part of my back, and then the curve from my bottom. So I wanted the coat to give me that nice fit on my back. On the front, I didn't do anything there. I didn't make any adjustments to the front. Nothing, not that I can remember, because I felt like the front it fit okay. So I didn't have to do much there. So that's it for alterations. The length is as is. I didn't shorten it. I thought I would have to shorten it, but the length works great for me. Some tips that I want to mention. So when I made my markings, let me turn it around and show you. So when I made my markings for the buttonholes, I made it on the wrong side of the fabric and also on the right side of the fabric. The wrong side of the fabric, it kept the markings somewhat, but on the right side, it was hard to keep the markings on the right side because it's so hairy, it's so fuzzy, and I lost my markings. By sewing and sewing, I lost my markings. So when it came time to make my buttonholes, I placed the pattern piece over the finished garment and just said, all right, this is where the button, this is. And I measured them a little bit too far from the center front. So my markings initially, they're like right here, right here, right here. I'm not sure if you can see it on the video, but after I made the buttonholes, and also my presser foot my buttonhole presser foot did not work at all, because this is so thick and it just didn't work. I tried it on some scrap fabric and it just wasn't doing the right thing. So I just cut the buttonholes and then close them by hand, like, so to prevent the fraying. So I cut the buttonholes and then went around the opening maybe about 2 times, but I did that with the thread by hand just to prevent it from fraying. So after doing that and then buttoning, I noticed that they were like too far over. So then I created some new holes right next to those and then close those ones up. And because the fabric is so hairy and so fluffy, I got away with it. So me looking at it right now, I can't tell where the buttonholes are, but if I touch, I can tell where they are. And I'm not sure if the camera will show where the holes are, or the holes were. Yeah, so that's what happened to me. So I watched a video, and I believe it mentioned that there's a special marking tool that they use for coats. I think they said they use soap, or a soap marker or something of the sort. I didn't use that. I used just my regular chalk marker, but I lost my marking. So if you're planning to make a coat, that's maybe something that you want to consider, that you have the right marking tool to make your coat. But all in all, it was I wouldn't say it was a hard, I wouldn't say it was hard, like there's a step that I just could not get, but it's very time consuming. I would say I spent well over 20 hours on this coat, and that's why it took me about a month. Of course, I have work, and I have 2 small children, so I would sew on and off for the month, or whenever I wasn't feeling tired, because I knew I needed to be in the right frame of mind and to have the right energy. Plus, it's very heavy, so you're moving around a lot of fabric, and working on the sewing machine and moving the fabric around. So yeah, and the rule, don't sew when you're tired. We do it all the time, of course. I must have been tired when I messed up the buttonhole. But, or maybe not, but yeah, it just took a long time to get it done. It may have been some anxiety I was experiencing, because it's my first coat, first time making a coat, and I did not want to mess it up or ruin it. Especially the more you sew and the further along you get in the project, you just want to do your best, because you've come so far, and just a simple, even the buttons, right? Like, if this wasn't like this boucle hairy kind of fabric, I could have ruined the garment with making the wrong holes. Maybe I would have had to maybe put another set of buttons going up just to hide it if it was something else, right? So yeah, just that pressure of not wanting to ruin the hard work. But I'm glad it turned out okay. For the lining, it's something that I would do differently the next time around, and I may make the adjustments on this garment before I wear it out. So the same alterations that I made for the main fabric, I did the same alterations for the lining, the alterations in the back and the armhole. And I noticed that because the fabric itself, it does have some stretch in it, right? The coating fabric, it does have some stretch in it. So when I try on the coating fabric, after making the alterations, yeah, I was moving okay in it. But after I put in the lining, I noticed that, you know, when I would cross my arm, I could still cross my arm, but it wasn't as free as it was before I added the lining. So I checked one of my coats and noticed that they had put in like a pleat in the lining just to give you that room to move. So that's a tip that I would use the next time I make this, and that, you know, maybe you would benefit from, I guess, adding that step. So I would maybe just add an inch in the, like a pleat, make a pleat that's about an inch in the lining fabric. And so I guess because I did take off some of the lining fabrics, like I said, the same adjustments that I made for the main fabric, I did it for the lining fabric. So instead of cutting those off, I could have just folded that, made a pleat, and just kept it moving instead of cutting and then serging and all of that. So that's what I'll do the next time around, because I do notice, like, more in the middle of the garment, that there's some like some pulling. I notice the pulling in the satin fabric. So like I said, I would make that adjustment the next time I make this pattern. So that's it for that. I've made other things in the last month, and I'll be making videos talking about how I made it. So I made a skirt set with this new look top, view A, and the skirt from Buttonhole 6738. So this skirt, but then I made some changes to that and had it like a ruffle or a flounce at the bottom of that. I made the top from this pattern for my mom, shortened it a little bit, and made this skirt and made her a set for Mother's Day. And everything that I'm mentioning right now, I do have a short video of the outfit already on my channel. So if you want to take a look at that, please feel free to do so. And I also made Butterick B6984 the shirt, but I did the short sleeve shirt and pants for my husband using some linen fabric, and that turned out really nicely. I made this before, the shirt and the pants for my dad, but then when I brought it to Jamaica, it was a little bit too small for my dad, so I gave it to my husband. But because I did not make the shirt for him, the shirt was a little bit big on the shoulders, and so this time around it's more fitted and it looks very nice on him. So yeah, again, there's a video of him wearing the outfit, so you can check it out. And I will also be posting videos very soon. I'm trying, you know, talking about how I made those garments, and you know, the alterations, if any, that I made, and my experience in sewing up those garments. All right, thank you so much for stopping by, and see you next time. Bye.